the excessive use of money, the excessive use of muscle, then that is definitely something that would strengthen democracy as all of us want it to be. And in that, all of you sitting here have a role. Your role is not just to listen. Your role is to participate. Your role is to write. Your role is to think. Your role is also to petition a high court. Your role is also to petition the Supreme Court. At the most, the PIL will be thrown out, but you have a voice. And you can't belong to Manipal University and not make your voice heard for either the poor of the country or for integrity or for good parliamentary practices. You cannot any longer think after today that parliament is somewhere, it's distant. A political formation has shown you in Delhi, isn't it? And it might continue to show you elsewhere in the country. Maybe not this formation, maybe another formation. But the example is such that you must also take forward, and you must take it forward, of course, in your vote. But what makes me think that tomorrow you won't stand as an independent MLA, you don't have to belong to a party, if for nothing else to set an example of what good politics can be and how you strengthen democracy, even in the losing. So we have now entered into a situation of a new dynamic. You can't roll this clock back. Mark my words, in the next few weeks and months and years, you can't roll this clock back. A new dynamic has set in our country, and see how advanced we are again when I take you into our neighborhood where a Twitter generation is completely banned. You can't express your voice. You might have a higher per capita income, but what is the use if you don't have the freedom of expression? You need both. You need that higher per capita income to feed your stomach, but you also need your voice and the sense of freedom. Is there anyone here who doesn't feel a sense of freedom? I think we all do. We can go out into the street and say anything. Well, practically anything. I have a few minutes more, so I'm going to just take you through the fact that what has happened through our democracy is that there has been a coming together of communities and groups, even religious orders, on the same platform that was inconceivable before independence. Today, if you look at our leaders, you can see how strong our states have become. We have a Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal who has challenged the existing system that was there. Maybe she's just used the same system, maybe she's refined it, but she's become a leader and she is a street fighter. She's acknowledged in our country to be a street fighter, a woman of great integrity. Everybody has faults. I have lots. Take Miss Mayawati. She has come from a depressed class and she has become she became in her time one of the most powerful chief ministers, and she's been chief minister 3 times. Take Miss Jayalalitha in Tamil Nadu and see how she has fought a particular system. Now in every case, for a woman to be able to reach where a woman reaches as chief minister in a very male-dominated world is the greater achievement, not the lesser achievement. So if you were to just, I don't have any definitive view, but if you were to just look at our 3 leaders of our states who have different backgrounds, have come up in different ways, and are ruling in different ways, the fact of the matter is that this could never have been thrown up without this constitution and without the democracy that we enjoy and we should nurture. So if you look at each of our leaders, and you look at our leaders particularly from the depressed classes, you look at our leaders from religious denominations, and you look at the fact of all women, because the women is always the discriminated force in our country, then you will see that, that we have come such a long way from where we were to start, or where we started. So a new dynamic has emerged in our country. It is something that we should recognize, and that everyone in the political field has now to break bread with each other at some time. Suddenly, even one portion of a caste, suddenly a subcaste too, becomes very important at the time of elections or at the time of government formation, because every vote does count. So each part of even our erstwhile caste system, as they develop through communication, through education, they are also sharing of power. And the sharing of power in governance, the widest sharing of power in governance, is critical for governance. Because when you have the narrowest sharing of power, then of course you have a dictatorship. And so, if in that process, the rainbow colors even of our erstwhile caste system suddenly become each in themselves important, each contributing to democracy, each contributing to the sharing or enjoying of power for whatever period of time, even that, to my mind, is very important. In my view, it is democracy that offers the answer to the problems of tackling inequalities and deprivation. And I'll tell you why. And I'd like our students here to do a little homework for me and study what I'm going to say. In order to raise the pitch in the public reasoning of inequalities and the issues of being underprivileged, one vital and important way of doing this is by increasing political participation of the underprivileged. So the relatively better social indicators in states such as Tamil Nadu and Kerala are mainly because of the active political participation of Dalits and other underprivileged people in the political issues and in the political processes of their state, and that has been the condition now for many years. So do we really have an answer to this model of democracy that we have? We can change the first past the post system. We earlier in another session, we discussed proportional representation. But in my view, we have to find that system, whether it's proportional representation, because there is certainly the view that how is it that a government can be formed with only 30% of the vote in this first past the post system. But we also have to nurture that system which is before us, which or an alternative in which those who have been underprivileged and who continue to be underprivileged must have a share in governance. And wherever they have a share in governance, as I said, the social indicators are better than in those places where they have not had a share in governance. And that is why I think that we need to perhaps continue with the system unless we are able to work out a system alternative to the first past the post system wherein those whom we want to give the slices of power to and spread them as evenly as possible in our community, that system can manifest itself. In all this, I will now finally come back again to the fact that all of you have a very active role, if I may say, to play. I was very heartened that you all raised your hands, or most of you raised your hands, that you had voted, and the purpose of my lecture today is to also see whether I can draw you in, not just into the voting every 5 years, but into being a participant in democracy. To your teachers and faculty, I would say that you have so many years of experience and thought behind you. Guide them in that way, because these 2 years that they will spend with you, or even overseas students who might come here only for 3 months in these very healthy exchanges that you have, your teachers should be in a position to guide you through these 2 years into being participants in our democracy, not just every 5 years, but henceforth. And if that is something that we can do, and with all the advantages that you have of creativity, of the whole knowledge of the internet, the whole world that exists beyond the internet and through the internet, and the fortune, the good fortune that we all have of freedom of expression, which we find suffocated in some of the countries, in many of the countries around the world, not only in our continent but on others, then we would say that no, so far we have not made a mockery of democracy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I believe one very important point came out from this talk, and one is that while we all have views on politics and politicians, we should be also looking at is the electoral system that throws up these politics and politicians, and thankfully that is still robust, strong, and very importantly independent. So that's a very good point of view for discussion for all of us. Token of our appreciation to Shri Navin Chawla for taking out his time and coming and sharing his views with us and spending very valuable time with our fraternity, with the Manipal fraternity. I request the chairman Shri Ramdas Pai to please present a memento on our behalf. Thank you, sir. It is also my pleasant duty to present the vote of thanks. The first and the prime vote of thanks goes to Shri Navin Chawla for once again taking out his valuable time and spending very precious time with us. These 2 days he spent going around Manipal, seeing all of Manipal once again and refreshing his memories and giving us very valuable advice in terms of how we should be doing things. Thank you once again, sir. Thanks are also due to someone who even Shri Navin Chawla will agree should be probably before him, that is Mrs. Rupika Chawla, for being there behind him and supporting him. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks are put up for the chairman of TAPME Trust, Dr. Ramdas Pai, and members of the TAPME Trust and Governing Council who are present here. Thank you very much, sirs. Other dignitaries of Manipal University, Mr. Somnath Deb, Mr. Tarakan, the press and invited guests, a hearty TAPME welcome. Thank you to all of you. Thanks, a special thanks due to the director, Dr. R.C. Natarajan, the students, staff and faculty of TAPME and Manipal University. Please give yourselves a hearty round. Last but not the least, thanks to all the Manipal fraternity present here and to SyndicateBank for providing this beautiful ambient hall. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to a close to the 31st TAPI Memorial Lecture. I request the director to please escort the dignitaries of the stage.